Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week I've taken a punt on a Festool sander. Let's see how we got on with it. Right, now about 2 years ago, when I was just first starting to sort the shed out, I was buying sustainers second hand to put things in and fit them out for things like the bench dogs and things like that, and I was picking these up for around £20–25, something like that, and I got this one. It came up on eBay and I ended up paying £38 for it, which is an awful lot for what is quite a tatty sustainer. It hasn't cleaned up very well. It's got a lot of paint on it, but it's doing what I wanted it to. But it did cost me over the odds, and the secret, perhaps, or the clue as to why I paid that much is on the front, where it says RS 400 EQ Plus. Now this was being sold with a Festool sander in it for spares not working, and it duly got put in the, I think I had a quick look at it, but it got looked at and put away in the garage, and of course it's not then surfaced until the last couple of days, but it's finally seen the light of day and has become a new project for me. Now in fact there were two Festool RS 400 EQ sanders in there. I think I had a bit of a play at the time, and I have to say I've got a sneaking feeling I think there was a counterweight in the bottom of that one which I'd taken off, and there's probably another bag of bits somewhere that I've lost. That's not really that important. I bought them purely on the off chance of, for the sake of probably 18 quid, 13 to 18 pounds too much I paid for the case, I might be able to get something out of them because spares were available. Now I seem to recall I've got two leads which in themselves are probably worth 13 quid if I tried to sell them. One of them has got no fuse in the plug and it probably wants a new plug. The other one has got a plug. Now if I remember correctly they work, but I suspect they're actually got burnt out armatures. I don't know. But we'll just have a quick look and see what happens. So that's the first one, which is relatively untouched. Yeah, doesn't really want to go, does it? There's a speed control on it. Oh, yeah, there's got a speed control on it. It's working. Seems to go okay. But I think, if I remember right, that what that amounts to is a burnt out. It's either the armature or the field winding has gone, and if I tried to use it for more than a few minutes it would quite possibly just go up in smoke again. This one, intermittent. And again I suspect it's down to armature, field windings, wires, all sorts of things. But it's a start anyway. What I need to do is take them apart now. I've got the Festool spares list. I know there are some bits missing from this one. The spares aren't hugely expensive, but with, like all these things, the minute you start buying lots of spares it starts to mount up, because a screw is probably only, you know, £1.50 or something, but when you buy 10 of them it's 15 quid, and then they start adding VAT on and things like that. But what I'm going to do is to pull these apart. I need a bigger screwdriver really, because they're either a hex Torx bit or something, or a flat bladed screwdriver that's quite wide. What I'm going to do is strip them right down, clean every part that I can find, and then take stock of what I'm missing, what needs replacing, because the bottom pads are pretty much dead. And then I'll have a think about how much it's going to cost me and whether it's worth it to replace the bits that are worn and put one or two together again. I think the biggest and greatest unknown is the armature itself and the field winding, because they're the expensive things. But even there, I think they're £30-ish sort of mark, 30 or 40 pounds. So it could be that I'd end up spending probably 70 or 80 pounds to get one back working in tip-top condition. That might be worth it for that. Whether or not it's worth getting two of them working, I'll have a look and see when I can get them apart. But at least the basics are there. The case, the speed control I know is working, and that was surprisingly expensive. So I'm going to just take these apart now, get them into bits, have a look at them against the parts catalogue, clean and refurbish everything I can, and we'll see what we're left with at the end of that when we can take stock and go on from there. Now I'm taking loads of photographs as I go of everything and the way it's connected up. I found immediately that the power supply, the one pin looks a lot smaller than the other, and I think it's been burnt slightly, so I was going to replace that, and that's been strengthened, that thought, by the fact that there's a bare wire there where it's been pinched at some point. So that's the first thing we're going to need to replace. So that's got the pair of them fully taken apart. A little bit of disconnecting for like that wire from the switch, but by and large all of the components are there. What surprised me is that the only thing I've got missing at the moment is one of the off-center brass weights from that one, and the little washer that goes underneath the head of the screw that holds that weight in. So I've got all the basic parts. Some of them are a bit more poorly than others. The question now is what is wrong with it. Now I've put a test meter across the field windings on both of them, and they've both come up with broadly similar results. Would sort of indicate that they're probably okay. To test the armatures, the idea is to put an ohm meter across the opposite pairs to get similar readings all the way around, and then to check the commutator there against the main shaft to see that there's not a short anywhere in the wiring, and then to test each pair alongside one another to test resistance. Now in some ways it doesn't matter what that resistance is, the important thing is that they're all the same, and then unless there's a very unhappy coincidence that when it's blown up or it's got overheated, that they've all gotten bad at the same time in the same way, the chances are it's okay. What that's showing me is that commutator doesn't look too bad at the moment. I'll double check it, but I think that one's okay. I think that one is shot. I'm getting all sorts of strange readings there that would indicate that the insulation is broken down on it. So I think what I'm going to do is to buy a new commutator, 2 new base pads, because that really is shot on both of them, a new off-center weight and the appropriate screw and washer that comes with it, and I might buy another pair of the connectors that hold the skirt on to the machine. There's one still left on there that I haven't disturbed and don't need to disturb. What I could do, as I've got a full set of parts apart from that clip, is to reassemble the good commutator with the good field windings, put the weight in off the other one, and literally put one back together, knowing that the only things I'd have to replace with spares are a new base plate and a new clip. But I'd then know if it works. I can do that without it costing me anything. So I think thinking about it, that's something that's only just come to me as I go. I will restore one full set of parts, put it back together, see how it goes, and then we'll come back to the other half. If that's successful, we'll either know we've got to buy another commutator or 2 commutators and a balance weight. So that's the plan, to clean these bits up. Well, it looks like I've got all the bits there to make a new sander up. Whether or not they're good enough to make it work properly, we'll find out next time when I'm working on it. Next week we'll be doing something different, I hope, and I hope to see you then. Bye!